Hello, hello, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to another City Sundays Live. And today we're going to be looking at Parklife as we add this into our new sort of city live build that we're doing. So, I've got it like this so we can go through the overview, like I like to do when I'm starting a series. Obviously this has come out sort of between episodes, and I kind of covered the update in our Green Cities cleanup crew, which was all the free stuff that was added in. And that, when I recorded that the night before the DLC went live. And now it's time for us to actually cover what extra we get in the DLC, and then look to build ourselves a park as part of our live build city. So, parks, areas, and park maintenance is part of the What's New stuff. We can create parks of any shape and size, and level up areas to unlock new park buildings. We can also charge an entrance fee for the park as an extra income. Park maintenance services will take care of your parks, plazas, and park areas in the city and boost their beneficial effects on the citizen well-being. So, if you remember with which one was it? Was it Snowfall? I think it was. We had those road transport buildings where you could send out, park those on the side of a road, and you get these little vehicles that would go out and just start improving the road surface. That's essentially what the park maintenance people do, is they go out and they improve the performance of the parks, which is kind of cool. We also have some new props and buildings. Over 300 new assets to enrich your gameplay experience. These include new park props, park buildings, vehicles and models, but also new landscaping assets like cliffs, caves and trees. We have new maps. 5 new maps have been added in to offer you new challenges and interesting locations where to build your city. New policies and park policies allow you to make your parks in your city more inviting and a bit more tourist friendly as well. Make your city into a thriving tourist attraction with new tourist models. The new tourism info view provides more valuable information on tourists' activity than before, as well as the appeal of various attractions in your city. Walking and sightseeing tours. The tourists can now join walking and sightseeing bus tours, or even hot air balloon tours. With the tours, you can manage better where your tourists will visit and make sure their stay in your city is worth their while. And trees and noise pollution. Roads with trees have always affected noise pollution, but now having all other trees on the map will also help reduce surrounding noise pollution. So if you've got a particularly noisy area, you can just go and manually dump in a whole load of trees, and that will help to negate some of that noise effect, which is quite handy. It's also probably a good idea to use that to help surround parts of something like a football stadium, for example, which is a very noisy building. That'll help and reduce its impact on the local area, including things like universities as well. Universities are also quite noisy. More props. There are now even more props available under leisure, landscaping and park life menus. Props can be used to decorate your city. We saw some of these as part of the free update 7.0. And new unique buildings and a monument. 6 new unique buildings like the Sea Fortress or the Observation Tower will make your city even more amazing, but the Castle of Lord Chirpwick is the ultimate attraction that every tourist would like to experience. Sounds kind of cool. So, let's load up our city. See where we got to. Let's see, Corey and Scott, DQ, Mr. Watter, Andy, you guys are all in the chat. How are you guys doing today? Alright, we are in. So, this is everything that we've kind of built around here so far. And we've put a few little mini parks in, but now we can actually go ahead and we can create a proper park. So I'm thinking somewhere around here, we could even perhaps look at taking a section out and dropping the park in. But somewhere around here we can actually put in an actual proper park. We've got a bit of water shortage over here in our recycle plant. Let's just quickly check that. Just slightly sticking out. little extension. There we go. That should pick that up. No spoilers about babysitting. Okay. I have no idea what you're talking about there. Right. Let's see. Where do we want to put our park? I kind of like the idea of maybe putting a park in this space here, as the road's going to continue to curve around. Maybe put a park in on the edge of this corner here. And then have this area down here as our park. That might be something that we could do. Or maybe we could put it on this side, actually. That might be a kind of interesting thing to do. Let's put it on this side, I think. So let's create a sort of a shape for our area to start with. We have a straightish kind of road coming off like this. I'm going to square off one side of our park. And then the other side will kind of leave running along the edge there. Take that up to there. Let's go freeform. And curve it in there. So we're going to build our park in this space just here. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and clear out some of those natural trees, just so we can actually see what we're putting in here. So I want the tree tool. Let's go with a medium tool. Just clear all those trees out. There we go. I was supposed to say Bahrain. Yeah, I don't want any spoilers about that either. I'm trying to avoid watching, any kind of results about it, and so I can watch the highlights later. Right. Let's go into our park tool. So we have a new tool here at the end here. This is for our new Parklife content and our park creation. So you can see here, we start off, we have the ability to kind of paint areas a bit like districts. So we can choose where we want our park to actually sit. Now these do overlap between districts, so they won't interfere with the district shapes that we already have, which is kind of cool. And we also have a whole list of options in here, so we can put in footpaths, gateways, plazas, and we also have piers if we have a lake, restrooms, little gazebos, all sorts of little decorations, trampoline park, climbing frame. Now normally these are all kind of locked off, and you only have access to a couple of things, and you have to level your park up to unlock these things the first time, and then I think once you've unlocked them, maybe they stay unlocked. But you can see there's a whole ton of assets in here: flower beds and garbage cans, some park tiles, food stalls, sandboxes. There's a whole wealth of stuff there, and that's just for a standard park. You can park if you want to, or you can build your own zoo, or you can build your own nature reserve. There's a whole load of things that we can actually go ahead and build. We're going to just build a regular park to start with. Andy says, would we ever get amusement parks? Well, yes, you can build your own amusement park just there. So let's start off with a gateway first of all. Every park has to have a main gate. There's a main gate that's quite big, and there's also a small main gate as well. You can only have one main gate for your park, and then you can also put lots of side gates in so you can access from different ways. We're going to go with a main gate along this road here. And we're going to plonk that in. Let's see. Plonk the main gate in just there. You can see it's starting to create our park itself. We're going to go with a side gate, which needs to be in the park area. So this is where we need to actually go ahead and paint ourselves a park area. Let's go with a small tool. Drag this down and along. There we go. And just like with districts, if you do a second one elsewhere, it'll actually create a second park. So make sure that you actually do it all as one continuous park, like that. There we go. So we have our park area. Now we can start to drop in our side gates. I'm going to go with 2 along this side here. We'll go with 2 along here as well. What's the gap that I've put in there? We want to go there. And then another one kind of there. And another one there. And then we'll put another one there on the corner there too. Let's move that one. There we go. So we've got the entrances to our park. Now we also need to connect up our fencing around the sides. Now these snap onto the side of our entrances, and we can build these in straight, curved, or freeform, as we can with roads. We can upgrade the types as well. This is where it can get quite tricky sometimes, trying to get these to actually behave. See if I can get this to actually follow the curvature around properly. Not quite, but we can get it to kind of bend in a little bit. And now we can get that connected like that. So we've got a little bit of an indent on the corner there. It's much easier to get it to behave on straight roads, which is why I built 3 straight roads there. Build right along the edge there. Again, nice and straight and easy. Why does not want to not play ball? It's on straight. There we go, it's built to there. Bring this down to there. We'll put a little curved piece in there. In theory, we could have just built across and then had a corner on the edge here, but I kind of like it like this. Run that straight along there like that. Same again here. Run to there. And cut across. This is where it's going to get interesting, because it's going to curve around, isn't it? There we go. Kind of follow the curve quite nicely there. And then again, it's going to curve along here. Just get it to curve to, say, there. Step in a bit. And then there. So there we go. We have the border for our park. Alright, so have a quick look at the chat. Oh, Adam's popped in the chat as well. Good to see you, Adam. JKD Gaming, Mr. P Gaming, Katie. Anyone else popped in? Mr. Water. Final words, GP. A few of you popping in now, which is kind of cool. Andy says, thanks to me, I bought TSW and it looks like I'm buying this as well. Or he's buying this as well as a result of me. That's fair enough. You know, again, I do like to kind of do these things so that people can actually see the games running and see the content running as well. It helps inform your decisions to whether or not you want to get it. That's one of the things I enjoy doing these things. Let's going to drop some pathway in to connect up our gates. We are straight, aren't we? Yes. There we go. I'm just going to put a basic kind of pathway looping up around all of our gates. Now we could just come off and start doing some free-form paths that just kind of wiggle their way around a bit, and then meet up somewhere near these exit points. You don't have to kind of do this where you link all these pathways together with a border pass. It's just something I want to do. But it's certainly not something you have to. Let's go freeform. Just like the idea of a pathway that kind of rolls around the edge a little bit. Of course, it might be a bit tricky here. Space already occupied. There we go. So we'll have to put a slightly angled path in that way. And then along here, let's see. We bring this along here. Like that. Yeah, I have a feeling that might be a bit wonky. There we go. So we've got our kind of pathway that links all the entrances together. And then we can start building stuff on the interior. And this is where we get to kind of be a little bit creative. Let's go have a quick another read of the chat again. Andy asks, how am I getting on with Detroit? I haven't platinumed the game yet, but I played it through and completed it in a couple of days, a little while ago actually, and I haven't gone back to it yet because I've been sort of distracted with other things, but I will be going back to play that through again and try out some different options and choices and start working towards unlocking the platinum on that one. And it's a fantastic game. We'll be going to PC on the Epic Store at some point in the future. As a timed exclusive, and then eventually I'd imagine will be made available on Steam as well. But it's a bit of a surprise, that one, because that is quite a big PlayStation exclusive, so I'm surprised that Sony have decided to put that one out there on all formats, well, I say on PC as well. Vanquisher says I made him buy Railway Empire as well. Guilty. So let's start looking at some plazas and areas that we want to stick into our park. Now, some of these things you can kind of rotate around and just drop in there. Other things do need to be attached to a road. What I'm going to do here is bring a main path down this way. Looks to be about the halfway point. that up. Try and find the bit where it intersects, which looks to be there. And there we go, we've got a nice straight cut through that way. And this is where we're going to start to build the centre of our park. So we've got this park plaza here, which is kind of nice. And we've also got this really big sort of chessboard as well, which is pretty huge. Now, we don't have to kind of make this central. One thing I do particularly want to try, actually, is to put a little bit of a lake or a pond into our park here, so we can try out some of the water features as well. So let's try that. We want a level terrain initially, but we need to actually just drop the terrain down a bit. Let's put a pond in on this side. It's probably a little bit too deep. Is that too deep? I wonder. Possibly. Let's bring it up just a touch. There we go. So to get this into a lake, we're going to need a few things. First off, we're going to need an outflow pipe. There it is. We're going to need one of these. Luckily, we have a water pipe running underneath the park. So I want this to kind of be hidden a little bit. So I'm going to actually have to drop the centre of the pond down a bit. This is where I'm going to be hiding my hiding the outflow pipe, so it can't be seen from the surface. Try and get that as low as we can. That should do it. And let's get this connected up. Might not be deep enough. I'm going to try rotating it around a bit as well. That might help. Looks a little bit better. Speed time up and wait for this to start to fill. There we go. And hopefully that will remain hidden from view. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up turning this off, but I may possibly need to keep turning this on every now and again to top things up. And what we'll also do, actually, just to give our park a little bit more of a pond lake kind of feel, is we'll actually use, if we can, we'll try putting in the quayside, which is going to be under terraforming options over here. It's quite thick, isn't it, actually, that quay wall? Didn't realise it was going to be looking quite that thick. That might potentially be a problem. Yeah. Let's pause. We're now at the point where we're going to start flooding the park if we're not careful. Let's see, just see if we can get away with doing this. around the edge might be a bit too extreme. I might get away with that. Looks a little bit like a giant swimming pool at the moment, which is kind of what we wanted. Just I wish we didn't have such a huge, thick wall. I need to put that pathway back in, don't I? Pathway, pathway, pathway. There it is. Just run straight across like that. That'll be easier. Let's go in and turn off our pump now. So it doesn't flood the rest of the park. You can see we had a little bit of water escape already. Alright, there we go. So we've got a nice little lake just in here. Let's start looking at putting in a few bits of decoration in place. I also want to try out some of these water items that we have. So we do have a couple of these sort of piers as well. Let's put the larger one over here. Like so. Smaller one we can kind of stick here in this corner. There we go. I'm going to want some decorations around here. Definitely going to want some benches. You can see we've got benches along the side of the roads there, but we can create a nice kind of little seating area over here. Actually, if I go to the pathway, am I going to need to actually create an entrance path? Possibly. If I do that, hopefully that'll be okay. Ground's distorted a little bit. I'm not sure if anyone's going to have direct access. Oh no, there we go, look. I think he's walking in the water. Okay, that's interesting. I was not expecting that. Oh, there he is. It's actually on the pier. You can just see. We zoom in, and then we go to walking. And plonk ourselves in here. Oop. Of course, we can't actually change our level, our height level. But you can just see, there he is, sat down on that bench. So we do have somebody using that already. That's brilliant to see. Just not sure about that kind of little entranceway just there. I think I'll take that out. Try something a little bit different. Let's just go with a single straight path. If I can. Like that. That might be a bit better. Let's put in a cafe here as well. Just on the side of the road just there. On the side of the pathway. We want a park info booth over here near our entrance. Can I get that to sit in there quite nicely? It's going to be tight. I don't think it's going to let me go in there. Nope. Alright, let's do it on this side instead. Do an info booth just there. I can put a restrooms here on this corner. There we go. I want to try and create some little kind of themed areas in the park if I can. Let's put the chessboard in just here. So between our two entrances. And where's our plaza? Just kind of get this to go pretty much central to our park over here. And I want to build pathways around the edge of this. And my pad is playing up. I'm going to have to buy a new pad, I think. I was trying to play a little bit of F1 this morning, and my throttle control is almost completely useless now. So I think I need to buy myself another DualShock. That's not cheap. Why wouldn't that connect? Right, let's try repositioning this a little bit. There we go. And right in there. Snapping option. Let's turn off the guidelines, because that's what's causing part of the problem, I think. There we go. That's better. And let's bring a pathway down to connect over here. This is where we can get a little bit more creative if we want to. We can go a little bit more freeform. I'm going to have to turn this pad off and turn it back on again. Hold on a second. Right, there we go. It's responding a bit better again. Where was I? Yes, we're going to go freeform and build a bit of a freeform pathway through here. Kind of loops around a little bit, and we can build a little bit of a nature walk in some respects. You know, get some nice trees lining the road a bit. Get these pathways coming off and sort of interconnecting with each other. So we don't have to just stick with rigid straight lines. You know, we can make it feel a little bit more sort of organic. Oh, what has happened there? Look at that. That's a bit of a weird twist. Let's sort that out. There we go. That's better. Let's do the same over here as well. Let's just break our pathway up a little bit. There we go. We've got some nice little areas that we can work on now. So let's get a gazebo placed in kind of somewhere over here, I think. Utilise the space in this corner. Let's go with the red open gazebo like that. And we'll get some flowers and stuff to kind of decorate the area a little bit as well. Where's our flower beds? There we go. Again, we can use our D-pad to rotate these around a bit. Get some planters in. Let's put a couple of sets of plants in just here. And then same again on the other side. There we go. It's actually changed the colour of those ones. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. And then of course we can go into our normal sort of landscaping option. We've got trees and we've also got this vegetation that we can throw in as well now. I want to see if I can actually squeeze some of this stuff in. Not quite. Go with individual tree types perhaps. Or maybe some low vegetation. I'll loop this around the back a little bit. See if we can throw a tree or two in there as well. Single trees. Let's get a different tree type. Oh, that's too big. There we go. We just kind of be a little bit creative with it. So we had this little corner here that was kind of just empty. Didn't really have anything to it. And now we can kind of go in and just add a little bit of decoration to it. I don't want to overdo it, but there we go. A nice little gazebo with some flower beds in planters. A few trees, a little bit of the new low vegetation around the edge as well. I quite like the look of that. A nice way to just fill that little corner. I see there's a lot of demand for a dog park. Yes, I'm trying to avoid using that for obvious reasons. Water is draining away. That's a bit of a shame. Let's get this turned back on again. This is the only problem with doing this, is that the water will drain away. It's a shame we can't get it to kind of just stay there. Get that water level back up ever so carefully. There's a whole load of new trees there through here as well. You can see as well, got flower trees, all these new trees over here, some pines, and then we kind of go into some of the older stuff. Got our bushes back as well, but this is what I really like as well, all this kind of high vegetation in various different sizes. Most of this is going to be quite awkward to place because of our key wall that we've got in. Getting a little bit of flooding apparently. Our pond is just about full. You can just about see the outline of it, but you can't really see it. Yeah, water is leaking through the edges, look. We've flooded out the park. We might have to take this water feature out. It might be a little bit too unwieldy. But if that's the case, then that leaves us plenty of space in here that we can do something with. Some kind of little event. Yeah, so it would just be nice if we could actually drop in like a water feature. But, yeah, maybe not. Let's take a look at some of the new rock piles as well, because we've got a few of these that are new. We've got some new rock formations. There's a lot more choices, obviously, with the DLC than without. But a whole load of these little formations, some caves. Oh, wow. Oh, that's big. I had no idea it's going to be that big. These are massive. Look at the size of them. Again, we can rotate these around a bit as well if we want to. Yeah, these are huge, aren't they? There's our cliff. Another cliff. These are just flat top plateau, really, aren't they? We could stick a massive bit of rock in the middle there. And that's more of a cliff. That's kind of cool. Where's the other rock formations that we saw with the update? They seem to have gone walkabout somewhere. I'm not sure. Now, what else have we got? We've got a moose and reindeer enclosure. A birdhouse. I kind of like the idea of a birdhouse, actually. There's a park in Nottingham called the Arboretum. And that has a sort of a little bird aviary in it, which is also actually quite close to a water feature, which is kind of cool. And I kind of like the idea of maybe sticking an aviary in there as part of the park. Kind of mixing and matching here with putting in a zoo piece with a regular park icon. What else is there? An antelope enclosure, bison, insect, amphibian and reptile house, flamingos, elephants, a sea life, a giraffe. Wow, a monkey palace. There's a whole load of things here that we could really kind of go to town with, but we'll try and keep it a little bit more under control. We've got some tents for part of the nature reserve, some viewing docks. Are these supposed to be viewing, I wonder? Maybe those are for going over the edge of a cliff, perhaps. Tent camping site. We don't want to camp in the middle of our park. There's our fire watch towers and stuff. And more camping sites. A fishing cabin. I kind of like the idea of a fishing cabin, but again, yeah, that water feature might well be coming out because it drains very, very quickly. Hunting cabins. Bouldering site. Benches, signs, and then we've got some kind of nature kind of accessories. Are they canoes? Yeah, kayaks. Oh, public binoculars. Good old public binoculars. This guy's dressed up as Chirpy there, look. Outside the aviary. Some interesting options there. Let's get some food stands in. Let's move those away from our official restaurant cafe over there. Let's kind of put these in just over here. Kind of wish I could zoom in further than this, but these will do. So I'll put an ice cream truck in just there, and then a food shack next to it. And then we'll have a food stall over here, opposite our gazebo. And we've got some picnic benches somewhere. Let's find those. There we go. Let's kind of create a little bit of a picnicky area. Can I drop a tile or two in? Not properly, no. Let me get my... now I can't get my... let's try deleting. There we go. Let's try this again. Ah, there we go. That's better. Create a little food area over here. Let's get... where's my... food store? There it is. I'll place that kind of in the centre, and then we'll get some benches either side. Let's go with the round park bench sets. Kind of like those, like that. There we go, and we'll get some street lights in as well. Brighten the area up a touch. Like so. There we go. Nice little food store. Let's take a quick look, see who else has popped in. DQ wants less flutes, more Iron Maiden. Yeah, we listened to classical last time, didn't we? Let's mix it up a bit. Let's go with the Mars radio. This is a bit weird, but it's kind of cool. Dan has popped in the chat. How you doing, Dan? And Spiros. We get it, Mr. P. Enough of the dog park now. Honestly, it's getting a bit ridiculous now. Yes, we do need some bins. Well, good spot there, Dan. Let's see. I can't like those ones. Let's stick a bin there, and then another one sort of there in between, like that. There we go. A couple of bins. Now there are bins dotted around the pathways, as you can see, if we go into walk around a little bit in our city. You can see we've got trash cans dotted around as well as street lamps, but this is our new little area over here, our new little corner. I've just noticed, look, we've got leaves. Why am I crouched down like this? Oh, this is an emergency worker that's searching through rubble. Okay, there we go. Slightly hipstery, but we'll go with this model here. I like that. You can see it's like leaves along the side of the pathway there. That's nice. I like that. So here's our little food area. There's our tables with our lighting and bench and stuff. Yeah, bins. There's our little yakisoba tasty noodles stand. It's kind of cool. Here's our gazebo. You can see we've got some people in here enjoying this already. Nice little flower beds. And look how quickly this is drained already. I think we're going to have to take this feature out and get rid of the water feature. Bit of a shame. It's not working, is it? It keeps drying out. I do run the risk of potentially flooding the area. It's a shame we can't get that to actually stay as a permanent pond. we'll leave it like that for now. And let's start throwing in a bit of vegetation, so we're not overwhelming the area with too much stuff. Let's find a nice tree type to kind of throw in here. Just throw in a few of these trees. Oh wow, look at the size of that one there. Yeah, we don't want giant redwoods. Flower trees, that could be quite interesting. Got a couple of those dotted around. Scott says we could get a ride or something. Yes, I think maybe a big wheel perhaps. We'll have a look and see what options we have available to us. Just throw out a few more of these kind of coloured trees in there just to add a little bit of variety. I may well come back and rework this area, but just kind of playing around with some of the options that we have to start with. Where's our vegetation? Let's go with some smaller bits like this, if we can. There we go. Yeah, I mean it's just something just to fill the corner temporarily. It doesn't look great, but we'll tidy that up going forward. It's just something to put in there at the moment. Need to wait for the rest of this to drain away. Or I suppose I could put an intake pump in here to get rid of that a bit quicker. Let's do that. We've already got the piping, look. So I'll do this without destroying the pathways. There we go. Lake be gone. But this does allow us to kind of just resculpt our terrain a little bit as well. There's no reason why our terrain has to be flat in the park. There's no reason why we can't put some hills and elevation change in there. So I think what we'll do is we'll kind of just go the opposite way with this. Rather than having it all completely flat, let's try and raise the terrain up a little bit. And then if we soften the terrain, perhaps a little bit too much, but you get the idea. So it's not perfectly flat. There's a little bit of elevation change in there. We can go a little bit more extreme with it as well. So we can really kind of just push this out as a sort of a central raised area a bit. Something like that. Maybe even put some of those rocks in that gap there. Let's see what we can do in terms of rides and stuff. Let's take a look at the amusement park. Got a game booth. I want something maybe like a big wheel or something. Oh, there we go. Ferris wheel. Perfect. Place that down there. Not a massive fan of that floor tiling underneath, but you know, you kind of get the reason why it's like that. It's part of a theme park, so it's got to look a little bit wacky. Now we do need an access point. Ooh, yeah, that looks a bit rough, doesn't it? Alright, let's smooth that terrain down a bit. If we can. Not without actually taking that off, okay. There we go, just flatten the base out there a little bit, so we've got that kind of little raised footpath there, and then we can just bring a little side path off here. Put that Ferris wheel back in. There we go. And we want our pathway to connect there. There we go. Right. Something in there. We need something in that space there. We've also got these areas as well. I don't want to overdo it with too many different attractions, so I'm thinking that at least some of this is just going to be trees and flowers and stuff, so we can create that kind of nice little naturey kind of feel. I don't want to overload it with just too much stuff, even though it's quite a big park. Yeah, we've got a nice little sort of corner over here where we've got our gazebo and a little food area with some kind of manicured flower beds. We've got our big wheel, and then just over here we've got our plaza, and we've got an arboretum, and then a sort of an info point. We've got some toilets over there. I suppose we could do with some more toilets in other places. Let's find the restrooms. Let's put some restrooms over here in this corner. Probably do with some restrooms over here near the big wheel too. Plonk that sort of there, perhaps. Yeah, we kind of get away with that. The terrain's a little bit wonky. Let's try and lower that terrain out a little bit first. Landscaping tool. I want to go really small. Just push that in a little bit more. There we go. That should be all the space I need. Which is handy because it's all the space I can get. There we go. Perfect. We can drop the toilets in there like that. Very nice. Let's see who else has popped in the chat since we last looked. Generous Dafwa has popped in. How you doing? Simulator Brian. Simulator Brian is suggesting that for one DLC or content in City Skylines would be the ability to connect your citizens with internet services. Depends what you mean by internet services. That's quite a broad, broad definition there. That could be anything. I mean, if you're talking about maybe setting up, like an internet provider, I think they probably already have that anyway. I mean, I don't know how that would work. Yeah, you'd need to elaborate on that one a little bit more. Oh, Dan. Oh, that's really generous of you. Thank you, Dan. That's incredible. Very, 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 very nice of you. Thank you so much. And Glenn as well. Thank you. Just my phone's just started pinging. Thank you so much for that, guys. That's really generous of you. It's caught me a little bit by unawares there. I wasn't expecting that. Do our toilets need to be plumbed in? I suppose it would make sense, wouldn't it? Or are they just... yeah, I see. It's just part of the park. Okay, that's... tidy that up a bit. There we go. The park needs to have a water source. What else have we not put in yet? We took our cafe out, didn't we? Because we had that over here. On the water's edge. And then we dropped in our food area there and took the pond out. Stick the cafe back in up here. Oh, here we go. Something for the kiddies. A climbing frame. Let's kind of plonk that in just here. Well, that looks kind of cool, doesn't it? Little nature clubhouse. Climbing frames, swings. What is this? A trampoline park. Again, I don't want to overdo it with too much stuff. I think that's probably going to be it for detail work, and then in terms of rides and things like that, and then the rest is just going to be nice casual places to relax. So we're going to need trees, we're going to need vegetation. We're going to need flower beds, all that kind of stuff. It's a shame we can't paint this stuff on like we can with the... with the trees, where we can actually just paint, strips of this stuff. Just the trouble with these circular things is that you can't get them sitting reasonably close to each other. They start to overlap with each other a little bit. Try something like that, and we could throw a couple of trees in there as well, just to add a little bit more flair to the area. Let's try these. Oh, it's not going to let me drop these in, is it? Of course it's not. Find a few spots where we can drop the odd tree in. Some of these are going to be huge. There we go. So we've got a nice little bit of a tree area over here. A little bit of low vegetation in there as well. Let's try a little bit of a different vegetation type on the other side. Something like that, perhaps. Oh, I see what you mean, Brian. It's kind of like almost like a city policy. So if we go into our policies in here, so where we've got things like recycling, parks and rec, education boost, you're talking about maybe having a municipal internet service and charge a fee. Oh, I get it. Yeah. Okay. We'll drop that suggestion down on the to cities themselves, to Paradox. Their community manager is very interested in getting feedback. Every Monday, actually, he does whole feedback sessions. He'll spitball out an idea and get some feedback from the community on their idea. They were looking at the possibility, and then again, it was just spitballing. It wasn't we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this, but they were talking about possibility of construction, and in terms of construction companies to build buildings, and you would see construction projects. So maybe some of the things that were being discussed by the community were how you could implement a construction style content expansion in terms of companies, maybe have different companies, and when you build something you actually see it go up in stages, or you have to have a construction company to be able to upgrade buildings to their next level, things like that. And there was also another one there talking about roadworks, where you have to have your highway department come out and deal with any potential pothole issues or things like that, dig at roads. It wasn't be a case of just dropping in bits of roads. You might have to actually build them bit by bit, so you wouldn't have an instant connection. Of course, that's going to have an impact on traffic flow as well when you've got roadworks that need to be dealt with. So there's all sorts of little things that they kind of spitball, and it usually happens on Mondays. So head onto their Facebook page or pop on their Twitter account and just drop that suggestion in. I'm sure it'll get added to a list of potential ideas, and who knows, it might possibly make its way in the future. You never know. Kind of want to try out some of these rocks. I'm sure we had some Stonehenge type rocks. I don't know where they've gone. They added in a couple of Stonehenge type rocks with the update, and now I don't know where they are. Oh, they're here in the props. There we go. Okay, we've got some more kiosks that we can add in. I knew there was some stuff that I hadn't seen. We've got a grill. Where do we want the grill? Stick the grill here, I think. Again, let's actually see if we can put in... might not give us the space to do it, but let's see if we can put in a tile. Oh no, we can fit it in. Excellent stuff. Let's try that. I'll try and get this straightened up as possible. There we go. Where do we go? We wanted our props, didn't we? We want that grill. What else is this? Kiosk. This is half the problem sometimes, is you can't actually see what it is you're putting down because you can't get close enough. So we're going to have a look at this in a bit more detail, I think. Like that. It looks like maybe a magazine stand. Almost looks like there's a kitten's face right in front of me, right next to the hat there, doesn't it? The way those things kind of blur together, it's like there's this weird kitten staring out at you. Yeah, let's delete that. There we go. Let's certainly go ahead with the food kiosk though over here. And we'll get that to go in just here. Like that. And then again we've got a nice area where we can create some seating. We use some different table sets this time. In fact, actually, let's... oh! I took the tile out. There we go. Can I put that tile back in? Yes. Let's try and get this a bit more centrally located this time. There we go, that's close enough. We'll go with the different trash can as well. We'll stick a couple of those in. And we'll get some lighting scattered in there as well. Actually, there's a light right there in front of us, isn't there? It's not really necessary, I don't think, that light. Take that out. What I will do, though, is I will stick in a signpost right there on the corner. A little bit of extra decoration there. Scott says, the park rides are so good I need to build a theme park somewhere. Well, maybe we will for somewhere else in the city. I mean, we've got all that space to play about with, you know, so there's no reason why we can't build a theme park somewhere over here. I think what we might do is maybe build a nature reserve at some point up here with the mountain. We've got options, but for now I just want to build a nice little sort of city park over here. Let's go ahead and drop in a bit more detail. Got some hedgerows, which again we can rotate round. Another food stall. Sandbox. Let's put the sandbox perhaps somewhere over here for the kids. Got a couple of sandboxes. Let's put a couple of those in. Like that. There we go. And I think, bar little bits of touching up, the park itself is almost done. Let's see if we can maybe throw in some of these new rock formations. I don't want them to overpower the area too much. Oh yeah, I like that. Perfect, it fits in there, and you can see it goes quite... Can we throw ourselves down there? I've got to try this. I've got to see if I can actually fall down the hole. Nope. We're on a set height. So we can't walk out, I don't think. Oh, we can, but we can't disappear down there. Almost disappointed by that I can't just throw. And there we go. So all we really need now is a little bit of vegetation and flowers and stuff in these areas, and then this park is pretty much done. So let's move away from there for a moment. Risto and Ziga, welcome to the stream. Good to see you both. Oh, I'm so tired. My sleep pattern is so mental at the moment. I've had about 2 hours sleep in the last 36 hours. I'm exhausted. And there's 2 hours right before this live stream. So I realised I wasn't going to stay awake. So I needed to get a little power nap in. Get some upgrades. I wonder if that's people getting access to our park. We are getting some movement of vehicles around here, and we do need to put a park maintenance service in as well. That's something else that we do need. I'm trying to remember where that is. I think that's in here. No, it's got to be in the park menu, hasn't it? Where on earth is the park maintenance building? I can't remember where it is. Let's go through them this way. We'll find it the quick way this way. I hope. Oh my god, look at all these assets. It's not in there. There it is, park maintenance. There's a whole tab here. That's what we're looking for. So we need a park maintenance building. It makes sense to kind of keep it, I suppose, near here. You can see that our parks are currently operating at normal and not boosted. It doesn't look as though this is going to be a bit of a noise issue either, which is kind of helpful. Toying with the idea of perhaps reworking the park slightly and putting the park maintenance kind of inside, but that's a lot of space to give up. Let's plonk it here. There's our park maintenance building. There goes one of our park trucks. I'm actually going to follow this guy, see where he goes. He's obviously going to go off and start working on our other parks to try and give them a little bit of a tune-up. Paul's popped in the chat as well. How you doing? Thank you as well, Mr. P. Again, very, very generous. Between you and Dan and Glenn, that is a new jewel shop bought and paid for. Thank you so much. Have I looked at the new unique buildings yet? No, not yet. But I don't know if I'm going to have those unlocked yet. And lyrically... Blah, blah, blah. Let's start again. Lyrically Spoken has popped in. Yes, we do have Parklife on console. And it is actually pretty awesome. I wasn't sure just how big the content would be. I'd never really looked at it because it was... ages and ages and ages ago, and we were still working our way through the first season pass content, and I never really bothered looking at Parklife, and then they announced season pass 2, and we got Green Cities, and I wasn't expecting Parklife to drop so soon after Green Cities. It's only been what, a couple of months, if that. It only feels like it's been maybe about 6-7 weeks. But we have Green Cities, now we have Parklife, and then at some point, I would imagine, probably in the summer, Industries. That's going to be an awesome DLC. I have actually looked at Industries a little bit on YouTube with some of the PC players using Industries, and it does look very, very good. Cannot wait for that one. There we have a fire. Where's my fire trucks? Where are my fire trucks? Come on, man's house is burning down. There he is. Maybe we need to increase our fire coverage in the area a little bit. What is our fire coverage looking like? Oh, bad. Very, very bad. Yeah, we need another fire station. That's shocking. Look at the fire hazard. 53% fire hazard. That's not good at all. Okay, we've got a medical centre over there, so let's try and do what we usually do and clump our services together a little bit. Don't necessarily want to put them on this. Well, I suppose, no, we could put them there, then they go to the roundabout and they can go off whichever way they need to. Rather than on this side, where they then have to sort of go that way and then turn into side streets to loop around to go back out this way and cover that half. Yeah, that works. Alright, so we'll put a fire station just there. Tear up someone's house to do it, but we'll do it. And then we'll put a police station. So used to those being next to each other, getting them been merged into a single tab. Let's put a police station just there, and then I might need to just change my zoning a little bit. Yeah. Take those out like that. There we go. So we've got police and fire, and we've got medical services just there as well. Hopefully we'll see some pings, some upgrade arrows as a result of that. I really do like the way this is coming together, and you can see this is all eco stuff as well. This is all from Green Cities. I rezoned this into Green City stuff, into self-sustainable buildings. It does look good, doesn't it? So you can see this is all eco, and then the businesses in this area, these are now local produce. So you can see we've got a couple of healthy weed shops around the corner, some soy and lentils. We don't have electric cars in this area just yet, although we do have some electric car charging points, there's just no one using them. But this whole area, Dean Park here, this is all self-sustained. You can see we are actually getting a few upgrades now, a few buildings starting to ping just a little bit. So if we go to Info Views and go to our Districts tool, there you can see there are our districts. So we've got Dean Park here, which is all self-sustaining. Myrtle Heights, which I think is the new European content. I think. You know, the European suburbia. Let's inspect. Yeah, that's European suburbia. And then what did I do for Butler District? That's European suburbia as well. It might all be European suburbia, actually. It is. So these houses are a little bit different to what you would normally see. This is part of the Suburbia content pack, which I think is quite cheap. It's only about, what, $3.99, I think? Gives us some new building styles. Some different house choices. I actually say I do really like these new houses. You can see it really does feel a little bit more traditional, more brick houses and none of those really sort of big American wood houses that we see when we just do normal zoning kind of thrown in there as well. It's more of a unified style, which is nice. It's not a kind of a mishmash of houses from different areas all thrown together. When new DLCs come out, do I add to existing cities or do I make new cities off camera? Well, generally what I do is with snowfall and with mass transit, which I kind of rolled in with natural disasters, I actually built cities from scratch as a series. And then we started, for Green Cities, we did something a little bit different where we took on one of the Green City challenges instead. We're doing the Cleanup Crew challenge on that. And this is just seeing what I can build with everything unlocked. But with industries, I don't know whether or not I'm going to add them into this city or actually start a new city from scratch. I guess I'll be adding industries into this anyway, but it's a question of whether I actually just take this city and then add to it. I might just build a fresh city from scratch when industries comes out. That's generally what I tend to do. Let's take a look at those new unique buildings, see if they're unlocked, because you can see I haven't actually hit the requirements for a lot of these things. Oh, we've got the Gherkin. A nice big department store. It's a cinema. Hypermarkets, government offices. There's the London Eye. Chirpex launch site. Boat museum. I'm not quite sure which of these are definitely going to be new. Some of these I recognise, some of them look like they've been changed a little bit. The Clock Tower, I think that's one of the new ones, isn't it? Big Ben, essentially. A clock tower that kind of sits on the side of the House of Parliament is what it's very reminiscent of. I haven't unlocked any of these by the look of it. Lungs of the City, that's from Green Cities, I think. Sea Fortress, that's new. Have a level 5 park area. How is our park getting on, actually? It's almost level 2. We are losing a lot of money on the park. Let's push the price up a little bit. Let's push the price up to 20. That's something else you need to be wary of as well, is that, you know, you obviously can charge entrance to your parks, but you will incur a cost for your parks. And if you don't balance it, then you'll pay out way too much and your park will bankrupt you. Pete's popped in the chat. How you doing, Pete? Yeah, Rissa says, I predict a completely new city because industries expands buildings or building possibilities over water. Yeah, I almost certainly will just go ahead and do a new city specifically for industries, but I'll certainly be looking to add some of those industry features into this as well, especially around our dock area over here. You know, drop in some industry tiles and see how things work over that. Looking forward to it. Clock tower increases speed of trains by 20%. Oh, nice. So some of them do have some quite nice beneficial side effects. Let's look at maybe getting a bit more zoning in on here. We've got a huge demand for housing at the moment. I actually can start to draw on that over here, I think. Do I go all the way to the roundabout? Yes. Let's take that little bit out there. Put a little shop in there or something, I think. There we go. A little small commercial building on the edge there. Let's stick another one just there as well. And let's start putting in some side streets down here as well. Let's really look to expand this area a little bit. I'm probably going to go with some straight streets off this road here, because we haven't done any in a while. Now, I want to try something a little bit different. I want to try and limit the size of the buildings that go in. I want to have a nice little compact area, so I'm going to go with this as an experiment, you know, see how this works. So I'm going to have a 4 tile space between our roads, like this. And then we're going to limit our houses to width of 2 blocks. I need to make sure I've got water in this area, so let's pull this over. Where's my guide point? Oh, I turned off the snap option, didn't I? There we go. Turn off my guidelines. That's better. Now I can take that piece out as well. There we go. So let's try this. Let's see how this works. I need to go to select, and this is where I need to be quite crafty about how I do this. I want to have small bits of shops along here. For this one here, we'll go with a slightly bigger shop. And then for the housing, we want to limit the growth like that. And we wait till those are built in, and then when they have done that, then we can zone the other side of the road, and then we'll get a nice, really compact little street with a lot of houses kind of pushed in together. I want to see what that looks like. Oh, DQ's off. Thanks, DQ, thanks for stopping by. Enjoy your NASCAR. Let's speed time up a bit, let that zoning kick in. So you can see we're getting smaller houses. But these are the original style, so what I want to do is I actually want to change the styling on this. I need to put a new district in. Let's draw that in. Like that. I actually want to take that off there, like so. I just want these houses in here, I want those to change. So at the moment they're all building those, but they don't fit with the European suburbia style yet, or not as well. Let's change that up a little bit. So let's choose that, and let's see what pops up in place. So immediately we're starting to get these kind of very different style buildings. That's the kind of traditional stuff that we're used to. That one there, and then that's one of the newer ones. Again, we've got some of our kind of just thrown together mixes where they just don't quite look right, the way they're kind of thrown together. We have this little concentrated area over here. see what they come up with. So they're all going to be this exact same building by the look of it. It's not the sort of building I was looking for, I don't think. I might change those to just standard European. See what else spawns in. Yeah, it's just building all the same house, isn't it? Which is kind of what I wanted, but I just didn't want that particular house model. It's not too bad. We'll see how it looks. And again, we can always change the style a little bit if we need to. I do like these brick shop buildings here, though. They're kind of nice. That's facing the wrong way. I'll leave it like that. Cows has popped in the chat. How you doing, Cows? How is our park doing as well? Has that hit 200 people? Level 2 yet? 478 guests. We're only getting 3 visitors this week at the moment. Plenty of entertainment until the next level. We've put the price up and it's killed how many people are actually coming in. We're just going to make the park free. Screw it. We're not worrying about how much things are going to cost us, because we're playing with unlimited money. So we'll make the park free, and that'll get a lot more people in there, I hope. Here come some new citizens, combined with a lot of commercial traffic from the docks. Yeah, I'm going to change the styling in this district, I think. To standard European. See what pops up instead of the European suburbia. So that's throwing in some of those other houses that, you know, we kind of didn't want to see. Okay, interesting. Alright, let's go back to European suburbia then. So those these 2 houses that have just popped up here, they're going to get dezoned, and it'll spawn in more of these houses along here. We'll try and keep that consistent look, I think. You can see there that we've got one side of the road pretty much zoned in now. That house there is probably going to get disappeared in a minute, as is that one there. But now what we can do is we can go in on the other side, and now I can zone in the other side of the street. Like that. Cal said, I was looking at expanding TSW with one of the UK DLCs. Which would I recommend? Well, there's 2. So, one's West Somerset, and the other one is the Transpennine. So, out of the 2, Transpennine. You'll get more enjoyment out of that than you will with West Somerset. West Somerset's nice, and it's good for the odd relaxing run, but as a more consistent runner, yeah, you'll get more enjoyment out of the Transpennine pack. My park made a noise. That's because it hit level 2. I have seen it, because I've played around with parks a little bit already. I have seen it also do firework parties, which was kind of cool. Look at the entertainment level. 1248 out of 420 to hit the next level. Easily going to do that. And the number of visitors, you can see that's going up as well. Quite quickly, now that we've made the park free. And you can also see the maintenance bar starting to drop just a little bit from its boosted state. which means at some point Park Services will come out and fix that. Let's see, do we have 6 vehicles in use at the moment? Let's take a look at the info views. We've got a new parks tab down here. So there you can see these pink park bits. These are things that have been boosted by our park team. So you can see they've been busy boosting our parks. Have we got any ones that are a bit faded? There's one over there that's a little bit faded. That one's quite fresh by the look of it. Even fresher. There's no green ones at the moment though. Oh, yep. Got a plaza over here. We might see one of our park teams come over and boost that in a moment. A bit of a trek. Let's see if I can figure out where the vehicles are. Looking around, I'm not even sure what kind of colour I'm looking for the vehicle. I'm guessing... Oh, there we go. Blue. Dark blue. So you can see there is one of our vehicles making its way around. Have we got one heading over here to boost our plaza? Not yet. What about this guy? Is he going to make his way over to the plaza? Nope, he's turning in as well. So it doesn't look as though the plaza is going to get looked at. They're just ignoring it. That's fair enough. It's to be expected. There we go. Look at that. That's kind of what I wanted to see. Rows and rows of little houses all kind of lined up against each other like that. It's a sort of a small, area. And we've got all of this space here, so what I might well do is I might just extend the zoning on those ones and see. Oops, just dezoned a square there. See what pops up in their place, but we can certainly go ahead and start to zone in some of these extra bits over here. We've got that demand, but whether they've got the demand for the small-sized housing is another question. And this is kind of typical of what you'll see, in cities here in the UK. Is you'll see these kind of small-sided streets kind of just stacked up against each other with just rows and rows of small terraced houses. We don't have the ability to really mimic that at the moment, but this is about as close as I can get, I think. Lots and lots of individually detached houses instead. Go. So let's throw in a few extra houses over here. I'll need a road to come across the top and connect all these together as well. Dropping a small commercial building just there as well. Nice little small house on the end there. And typically as well, what you'll tend to find is that you'll get a small row of shops along the ends of these streets as well. And then as the main road kind of runs through, you'll start to see, just like a little sort of run of shops all the way along, separating our side streets like that. In terms of streets, I need to go to roads. Where is it? Is it junctions? No, I know what I need to do. I need to make sure that Thompson Street is the priority road. There we go. Along here, anyway. I also want to make sure that this is a priority road. I'm starting to get a nice little bit of extra traffic coming in. There's our park, looking all kind of awesome from this angle. Still a little bit barren over here. We still need to add in a few trees and other bits and bobs just to kind of fill up these spaces a little bit. Again, a little bummed that we can't put in a small water feature. I might see if I can maybe put a fountain in here somewhere. Do I have... in unique buildings, do I have some fountains that we can play about with? I think I've got any unlocked. Oh, there's a fountain. Oh, that's a big fountain. That's a very big fountain. Yeah, I think we'll save that. It's too big, really. What about some of these smaller ones, perhaps? Statue of Wealth. I want a small little fountain, just something simple. I don't think I've got one. Statue of the Colossus. Wow, look at that guy. That's new. Needs a shoreline. Oh, so that's for water. Ha! Okay, that's interesting. How about there? That's kind of cool. I don't know if I'll leave that there or not, but going forward, but we'll leave it there for now. It needs a road. We can easily connect a road up just here. There we go. It needs water as well. Just extend that pipe along a bit. Is that enough? Yeah, there we go. Good stuff. Interesting. I want to see what else we've got that's kind of new. This is all a mod pack from the Art Deco stuff. Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Pretty much. It's a shame there's no small, easy to put in water feature that would sit in here quite nicely. You know, a nice little water feature in this space here would look great. But again, there's just no way of maintaining the water level consistently. Bit of a shame. I look away for a few minutes and come back to the chat, and everyone's talking about Thomas the Tank Engine. Dan says Thomas the Tank Engine is a documentary about the UK rail system. Well, it's too good for the UK rail system. What was it? Wasn't Sawdust Island? What was it? Oh, God, it's been years. It was something beginning with S. I forget. Maybe someone in the chat can help me out. I can't remember. But it actually looked quite efficient. Quite efficient, a little network on that, and ours is anything but. Ours is just a shambles. Maybe there's something in props that we can use. Oh, here we go. I mean, these are small, very small. I want something bigger than that. Even that's too small. Yeah, there's nothing big enough really to kind of fill the space that I want. I want something. Oh, I suppose we've got a water feature there, haven't we? But it'd be nice to actually be able to paint in a pond in that space. That would be really nice to be able to do that. I might play about with that again and see if I can do that off camera. I might see if I can put a water feature in here and get it to stay consistent. The only thing is going to be trying to hide the pump to stop the park from flooding. I'll have a think about it. But we've been going for going for about 2 hours or so. How's our park getting on? Still a way to go until it hits level 3. We've added a nice little district here. We've played around a bit with the park. I need to finish sort of tidying it up a little bit, add a little bit more colour to it, a little bit more detail. I still want to try and get some water in this space, and I'll mess around with that off camera, I think. So we'll see if that works when we come back next week. I'm going to call it a day here. So thank you everyone who has stopped by. We will continue to explore Parklife in depth, with this city build, and we'll also throw bits of Parklife into our Green Cities Cleanup Crew Challenge playlist as well. To see how that kind of helps to shape our city a little bit. But we won't be creating monster parks like this. So this will be where we'll be building things like zoos and nature reserves and all that kind of stuff. We'll do all that in this city. But yeah, it's coming along quite nicely, isn't it? Let's find a decent shot for our thumbnail. Try and find one that adds a little bit of extra colour and also shows off some gates. Let's go with that. I think that's going to be our thumbnail just there. Maybe just bend it round a bit. Yeah, there we go. Let's try that. So yeah, that's it from me for today. I've got more Railway Empire coming out tomorrow, and another episode of Farm Sim as well, another episode of Marwell Manor, and then we'll be back with another live stream on Tuesday, TSW Tuesdays, and I think we might actually run some Northern Transpennine on Tuesday, because it's been a little while since we've run that one, and I'm enjoying running UK services at the moment. I've been running a lot of the Class 166 recently. I knocked out the Mile Muncher, sorry, not the Mile Muncher, sorry, the HST trophy, the 430 miles in the Class 43, and I'm about halfway through the Mile Muncher trophy. I've done about 800 and something miles so far in the Class 166, so I've got another 800 and something miles to go. That's going to be a long one. And then I've got the Class 66 as well, with another 660 miles on that one, before I can get that one done. But I'm working my way through the trophies in the base game, slowly but surely when I get some time. But I think we'll run something a little bit different. We'll run the Transpennine pack, because I do like that one. So yeah, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with some more of our live build same time next Sunday. And I'll see you for some TSW Tuesdays on Tuesday.